We use language. In another way, we can call language as a bhasha in Sanskrit. We use language for what? We use language for expressing our ideas, to express our feelings, to express our thoughts. Ultimately, human beings use word or vak, or we can say speech, a little bit more technically. What is speech or what is vak or what is word? We can say we are trying to objectify our ideas, we are trying to objectify our thoughts or ideas or feelings through vak. You all agree with me? Right? Vak or the word or we can say the speech is something where we express our thoughts, ideas, feelings, etc. as an objectification. Ultimately, it comes out of the mouth. So then, my question to all of you is this vak or word, is it a mere spoken word? I hope you got my question. Is there anything behind the object word which is coming out of the mouth? Is there any pre-processing or is there any left shift aspects involved much before creating a spoken word? Or my question in a different way, is the entire process of communication is little bit more complex than just looking at the word? For example, I am saying listen, and I say listen. So my question to all of you is there a bigger process of communication happening when one is uttering a word? Yes or no? So it means there is a big process, there is an entire process of communication which is happening. Maybe we can say from when we say the ideas, feelings, expressions, emotions, etc. It starts from the subtlest, and ultimately the subtle form is getting manifested as a word or a padam or a vak that is coming through the mouth. It means there is a process of objectification happening in this process. So what are those? That is what we will look today before we get into Sri Dakshinamoorthy Stotram. Once we reach there, you will appreciate why I am bringing this topic for the discussion. So if you see our Hindu Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma, the power of speech is highly glorified. Why? Because we have Saraswati Devi as the Vak Devata, as the Shakti. Now this is the Navaratri time. In few days you will see the Maha Navami and the Vijaya Dashami, where we give importance to Goddess Saraswati on the last 3 days. We call Saraswati Devi as the Akshara Devata. In the Lalita Sahasranamam, we can see Vashinyadi Vagdevada Arshaya Anushtup Chanda Sri Lalita Parameshwari Devata. That's how it starts. Sri Mada, Sri Maharajni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. Vashinyadi Vagdevata. Vagdevata. And if you go back to the Veda, in the Vedam, the Vak Shabdam is elaborated to a very big extent. Chatvari Vak Parimida Padani Tani. There are different situations in different scriptures. In the Vedam, in the Upanishad, in the Puranas, Upapuranas, Prakarana Granthas, where speech, the relevance of the speech, relevance of vaka, relevance of word, relevance of padam, para pratyakshidi rupa pashyanti paradevada, madhyama vaikhari rupa bhakta manasa hamsaka. Again in the Lalita Sahasranama. So the speech, we can say, speech comprises of 4 dimensions, four divisions we can say. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. When we say para, let us think a little bit practically here. Before I want to utter a word or I want to frame a sentence, it starts from the unmanifested. Para is all about the realm of pure consciousness. That is where first the existence is coming, and from there any sort of ideas or actions or feelings or emotions are getting triggered in that substratum, in that pure consciousness. Or in another way we can say, the distinguishing aspects or the distinction between a speaker, the speech, and the object. And the object. What is that object of speech? You all appreciate that. There is a speaker, there is a speech, there is a word, there is one who is going to talk that word, there is a word, there is an object also for that word, there is a meaning for that word. In that case, who is the one which can identify the differences between the speaker's speech and the object of speech? And in that subject, everything will dissolve. Meaning, the para form is the source of creation. And where everything emerges from the silence of this absolute. Silence is our true nature. Silence is our unchanging substratum. Substratum meaning the foundation. In the Om mantra, in the Pranava mantra, silence in the Om. Om comprises of the 3 sounds A, U and A meaning Jagrat or the Vaikhari. U means the Swapnam or the Madhyama. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. Jagrat is the gross form, the awakened state. Vaikhari, similarly, the objectification of an idea as a word or a speech. U represents the Swapnam. We can say it's the Madhyama, or we can say as the semi-conscious state. A, U, represents the sushupti, this deep sleep, the pashyanti. So this is para. Para is the substrate. Similarly, in the Om, the deep silence between the A, U, Im. From where these sounds came? The sounds came from the deep silence. Deep silence is the substrate. Deep silence is the adharam. Deep silence is the foundation. So now our discussion is all about how the objectification of a word happens, the formulation, how it happens. For the formulation to happen, there needs to be something that gives the power to create. That is called as the para, the absolute consciousness. Pashyanti, the second dimension. Pashyanti is all about the formation of desire to speak, desire to tell something, desire to express. We can say it's the Icha Shakti. So when we say Icha Shakti, from the para, the unmanifestation to the semi-manifested state, we can say Pashyanti. We can say this is subtle or a mental idea or an image of a word is getting formed. Or in another way, the abstract symbol with meaning is getting created in the Pashyanti. Another way, the crystallization into language or a word or a kind of a walk. So it means still Pashyanti remains unified with the subtle vibration of the consciousness, because the Icha Shakti starts from the consciousness. Icha Shakti starts from the substratum. Maybe an idea to talk something or idea to express about an object. So that is where the consciousness enabling the Icha Shakti to create a language or a word, crystallize, helping to crystallize something, but still it remains unified with the subtle vibration of the para, that is the consciousness. Para Pashyanti. Now, Madhyama. Madhyama meaning what? The further solidification stage, the processing, the further processing, we can say. Further processing towards the manifestation of a word, manifestation of a walk. So that is where the Jnana Shakti plays. First was the Icha Shakti, now it's the Jnana Shakti. Maybe we can say from a subtle aspect to more concrete level of an expression. Meaning, here the thoughts will start, or thoughts will begin to shape a word. And where is the thoughts? Thoughts are residing in the realm of the mind. Thought starts shaping a word. So now we can say from the Sukshma Tamam to Sukshma. Mind is the Sukshma, right? Madhyama is the bridge between the inner world of expressions or ideas or thoughts to the outer world of sound, because ultimately the word comes out as a sound. So here the word gains clarity, the word gains a form. For what? eventually to prepare for the manifestation. Now comes to the Vaikhari. Vaikhari is what? Vaikhari is more gross. Vaikhari is the Kriya Shakti. Ultimately, the Vak culminates in its fully manifest as the Vaikhari, gross speech. Can say spoken words that are audible to ears and also perceivable by others. So that is where the externalization of an internal thought is happening. Ultimately, the externalization of an inner feeling happening and allowing for communication and interaction with the world. So the substratum on the top of that Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. That is how a word gets manifested. In Lalita Sahasranama again, Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupanye Namaha. Devi is worshipped as the embodiment of all these Shaktis. So why I told this? The journey of Vak, the formation of a word from the Para to Vaikhari. This illustrates the process of creation itself. That is, from the unmanifested to manifested, from the subtlemost to subtle to gross. Through this, one will we be able to appreciate the connection between the sound, thoughts, and reality. When I say connection, the deeper self-awareness ultimately enabling one to use the word or the words or use the language to connect to the world. So now the summary is Para is beyond all. Para is the profound silence. Para is the motionless plane. Para is the eternally equiposed state. Para is, we cannot say it's subtle, it is so subtle. It is the subject. From where these words are emanating, where the thoughts are coming. Thoughts come in the mind. But what is there behind the mind? What is there for the mind to exist? In what the mind exists? So Para is that. Para is the substratum beyond everything. Para is the motionless, eternally equiposed subject. Pashyanti we can say the Icha Shakti coming. Still Pashyanti doesn't distinguish between subject and object because it's the early form of an objectification. But it is also not the subject because the shaping up is happening. So Pashyanti doesn't distinguish between the subject and object because it has departed from the Para. Because an idea has come, a feeling has come. So Icha Shakti has already come. So now Madhyama is the mental realm because the real objectification starts from there. And Vaikhari is the final object, final audible sound. That is the speech of Maya because the objectification, the codification finally came out as a word. So this is how the creation is on. Creation starts from a changeless substratum. And in any creation, the Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti comes into picture. So silence is the unmoving substratum of all the manifestations. And silence is where silence is within us, silence is our own self. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan always stresses about the direct experience through silence. Silence as the direct glimpse of self. This is the highest form of teaching. Mauna, right? In another way, we can say Mauna. Maunam or Nishabdada. These are the two similar Sanskrit, or I would say the closest Sanskrit words we can use, Mauna, Nishabdada. But now the question will come. So are you saying us to keep Mauna always? And what is Maunam? Maunam is not about absence of sound. Maunam is all about the peaceful state of the self, the unmoving silence which is there within us. Unmoving silence, the peaceful state of the self which is not affected by the noise, not affected by the words, not affected by any of the objectifications. Maunam is again a medium through which the awareness of the self is transmitted. Maunam is the state of gathering energy. Maunam is the real state of all of us. Maunam as our Swarupam. That is where all teachers, when they ask us to meditate, turn inward, look into yourself, close your eyes, observe your thoughts. Why the closing of eyes is needed? Because otherwise you are always caught up in the Swabhavam, you are always caught up in the Prakriti. Even if we close our eyes, still there is a chance that the mind will drag us into the Prakriti. But Maunam is observed to go towards Swarupa, turning inward. Swabhavam is the object. Swabhavam is all about the mental delusion. Swabhavam is all about the attachment with the objects, attachment with the world. Whereas the Swarupam, whereas the subject, whereas the truth is within us, and the form of the truth is silence, because it is the state of pure silence. It is shining, it is ever effulging. The innermost core, our Swarupam, is the total absence of sound. Total absence of sound, we need to understand that total absence of any of the manifestations. All the manifestations happen in the subject. So our true nature is silence. It is not having any sort of a reverberation or a vibration. And that truth, that silence is beyond the life, beyond the death, beyond the creation, beyond the destruction. A new thought coming, getting codified, objectified, and going out as a word. Create, sustain, destruct. Again something starts, generate, sustain, destruct. But what is enabling this kind of a formation of the words happening, where those words are getting created, sustained and destructed? It means there is a substratum which is beyond the death, which is beyond the creation, which is beyond the life, which is beyond the disturbances. which is beyond all the objects and manifestations. So this truth, this self is the silence, and this silence is golden. This silence is called as God. This silence is God as called as Atman, Brahman, truth. This silence is the substratum for the body, mind, intellect, senses. This silence is power. This silence is the life force. This silence is the reality. And our goal of life is to realize this silence. And where is the silence? This silence is within. This is our inner voice. If you look at the manifestations of the God, take the deserts or mountains or oceans or rivers, what they show, they all show the silence, the profound silence. So here in the Dakshinamoorthy Stotram, the message of Lord Dakshinamoorthy to his 4 disciples, Sanagan, Sanandanan, Sanadanan, Sanalkumar, all rishis. What is the knowledge that Lord Dakshinamoorthy is sharing? It is all silence. Silence is the ultimate thing. Silence is no better healing, right? There is no better healing than silence. What we are experiencing in the deep sleep, tell me. What we are experiencing in the deep sleep. You are not having any of the objects. You are not having any sort of objective pleasures. Is there anybody who is saying that I don't want to sleep? Let me enjoy in the world 24/7. Is there a state like got bored with the sleep because there is nothing to interact, because there is no object, so I am bored? There is not even a question. I want the deep sleep because I want that silence. I know that silence is more eloquent than the words. And that silence is the means for my energy creation. Because what is happening, all the objects are getting plunged into this reality, into that silence. Unknowingly we are experiencing the God daily night. Though the ajnanam is prevalent. So now learn to enter into the silence when we are in the awakened state. Daily you do. Because the language of God is all silence. What is real meditation? Real meditation is when you listen to that silence, when you listen to that God. And His silence is communicating to us. When I say communication, the connection that is happening, the deep connection that is happening with the Jiva and the Ishvara in the deep meditation. So the language of God is silence. When you listen and when the God speaks, this is the real meditation. So this silence has to be heard. This silence has to be experienced. So for experiencing this silence, for hearing this silence, you need to still the mind. You need to control the outgoing tendencies of the mind. You need to have all the Samadhi, Shatka Sampatti. How to withdraw the mind, how to withdraw the organs, how to channelize your energies into one channel, right? When you do the ekadashi, all the indriyas are controlled and channelized towards only one source. That is all about listening to that silence. So purify the mind and meditate. What is silence? Silence is all about, from an external point of view, you control the emotions. You chop those emotions and the bubbling thoughts, because the surging emotions and the bubbling thoughts are always distractive. So one has to purify the mind. For what? To know the silence. Not only that, to enter into that silence, and finally to become that silence. So in the Vedantam, we can see the terms like Maha Mauni. Don't consider silence as a absence of talking and sound and all. Don't literally take that. It's all about appreciating the profound substratum of the objects, including the words that you talk, including the language that you use, including the ideas, feelings, emotions that you create and objectify as a word or a conversation, or understanding the dimension which is behind all the three avasthas. Beyond the deep sleep, beyond the Swapnam, beyond the Sushupti, who is witnessing all these three states? The deep silence is the one who is witnessing. And this deep silence is the complete possibility of everything. All alaukika, laukika gunam. Alaukikam let us not discuss. Sorry, laukikam let us not discuss. All the alaukika gunam, meaning all the soft attributes which are needed, love, compassion, empathy, whatever, all the true inner soft dimensions that one should have. So this silence is the embodiment of everything. Silence is the embodiment of Shreyas. So now let us get into the Dakshinamoorthy Stotram. Why I brought the term silence, now we can see in the first the Dhyana Sloka. Today we will be able to cover the two Dhyana Sloka. That's what I plan. Let me give a brief of Sri Dakshinamoorthy Stotram, composed by Bhagavan Bhashyakaran Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada. Here Dakshinamoorthy is, I don't know whether I can use this kind of words here, as an aspect of Lord Shiva. I don't know whether an aspect of Lord Shiva is correct to use here, but let me try to use a Vedantic term here. Dakshinamurti as the Brahma Vidya Guru. Dakshinamurti as the Sadashiva. So in the Shaiva Sampradayam, Dakshinamurti as the embodiment of Lord Shiva as the Brahma Vidya Guru. And in the Vaishnava Sampradaya also we know that Hayagriva, the Lord Vishnu's aspect, we can say. Again, the Brahma Vidya Guru. Our Guru Vandanam, we all chant daily. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara. So, starts from Sadashiva, Adi, or we can say the Brahma Vidya Guru, Adi Brahma Vidya Guru, starting from Sadashiva to Shankaracharya to the complete Guru Parampara. In the Vaishnava Sampradaya also there is a mantra or a slogam. Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalam Svadigam Krudam Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmihi. Here Dakshinamoorthy asked the Brahma Vidya Guru. Brahma Vidya Guru, one, we should understand that the one who destruct the duality, Dvaida Bhava. When we say destruct the duality or the Dvaida Bhavam, destruct the ignorance, there is only knowledge. So here there are two explicit meanings that can be derived for the term, for the word Dakshinamurti. Dakshina meaning what? South. And in Hinduism, people usually don't prefer the south dik, the Dakshina dik. For especially for the auspicious things, people don't usually do anything towards south. And south is considered as the Yama, the mortality principle, death, Yama Deva, right? So here Dakshinamurti, the south facing deity, who is doing what? Who is doing the Brahma Vidya Upadesha, Brahma Vidya Jnana. In the ordinary context, one should understand that Yaman or south is the mortality, is the finitude, is the andam, is the end. So then when there is an end, always there will be a fear coming, bhayam coming in us. Bhayam comes when you have a feeling of dvayam, when you have a feeling of dvaidam, duality. So when there is bhayam, when there is andam, always there is a restlessness, sense of inadequacy, apurnatvam coming in us. So there is always a rat race for leading towards desire, get that, again get into other desires, etc. Maybe dissatisfaction will come, again adripti will come. So feeling about the mortality, finitude, andam, bhayam, apurnatvam, then kamam, krodham, lobham, moham, madam, malsaryam, adripti, leading to a kind of a human sorrows, continuous human sorrows. We call it as samsara or the samsara dukkha. So Yaman is the samsara, Yaman is the antam, Yaman is the death. Whereas Dakshinamurti is the one, the Murti, the Guru who has got the control of Yama, who is not limited by time, space, object, causations, etc. Dakshinamurti is the one who is not limited, who is having the control of Yama. Dakshinamurti is the Mrityunjaya, the one who has been successful to overcome the Mrityu. Bhagavan's Saddarshana. We can see that in the second verse. Mrityunjayam. This is Mrityunjayam. Mrityubhi Asridanam Aham Madir Mrityumubaidi Purvam Adhaswabhavat Amruteshu Teshu Katham Punar Mrityu Diyovakasha. This is what Bhagavan says in Saddarshana, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Mrityunjayan. So for the ones who already have taken refuge in that truth, that substratum, that reality, that inner silence, and the one who was conquered, one who has taken refuge in the truth which has conquered the death, then where is the question of, or where is the space for the thought of death in such people? The one who already has realized their own nature, the true nature, and that true nature as the immortal principle, Kadham Punar Mrityu Diyovakasha. So where is the question, or where is the space for such people to think about death? So the first meaning is the one who has conquered the Mrityu. The God, the Lord who has got the control over Mrityu, Dakshinamurti. Second meaning is the Dakshinamurti. Amurti meaning there is no form, formless we can say. Dakshinamurti. So this symbolizes the formless Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. So two ways we can consider the symbolism of formless Brahman and the teachings of the formless Brahman, and the Brahma Vidya Guru, Adi Brahma Vidya Guru, who is giving the knowledge about the formless Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. He is Dakshinamurti. The one who has conquered the Mrityu, Yama. The one who has conquered all the limitations of the objective plane. The one who has distracted all the ignorance is also Dakshinamurti. So Dakshinamoorthy Stotram is a Prakarana Grantha. It's an auxiliary text, or we can say it's a commentary by Bhagavan Bhashyakaran Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada, where the subject matter is all Upanishad Jnana. There is no different knowledge. It's all Upanishad Jnana. And here the Dhyana Slogam. You can see 5, or in some texts you can see 6 Dhyana Slogams. Bhagavatpada's Shishya, I think it's, if I remember, Sureshwaracharya created this Dhyana Slogam, the Namaskara Slogam. But we will do is we will quickly go through all the Namaskara Slogam. Today we will cover the first 2. And then once the Namaskara Slogas or Dhyana Slogas are covered, we can go to the main Slogas of Dakshinamurthy Stotram. The first Dhyana Sloga. Om Maunavyakhya pragadida parabrahma tattvam yuvanam Varshishtan devas rishiganeravrutam brahmadishtai Acharyendram karakalida chinmudramanandarupam Swatmaramam mudidabhadanam Dakshinamurti Meedhe Mauna Vyakhya Pragadidam. So So now you will appreciate why I was talking about Maunam. Profound silence. This is the meaning of Maunam. So here I am giving the deep salutation to Dakshinamoorthy, who is the Brahma Vidya Guru, whose exposition through profound silence. So through the profound silence is awakening the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman in the heart of his disciples. And how is the appearance of this Dakshinamurti? Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam, who is himself appearing as a youthful or a youth, sitting surrounded by Rishiganair Avradam Brahmanishtai, Rishiganam, or by the great sages who are devoted to Brahman, Brahmanishtai. Through Maunam, through the profound silence, Sri Dakshinamurti is awakening the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman in the heart of his disciples who are sitting around, who all are great sages, and they are Brahmanishtai, who are devoted to Brahman. Acharyan, here the real Guru, Acharyan. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Ananda Rupam. The hands of the great Guru, the Dakshinamurti, is forming a Chinmudra, the gesture of knowledge of Brahman. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandam Ananda Rupam. And whose appearance is Anandam, is blissful. Swatmaramam Mudidavadanam. So, still and blissful, and who is rejoicing in his own self. And with the joyful, I would say the blissful, radiant face, who is with the Chinmudra, who is showing the Chinmudra Tattvam, appearing as still and blissful, who is rejoicing in his own self with the radiant face, bright face. This Adi Brahma Vidya Guru is teaching this profound knowledge of Brahman through the profound silence. And I salute to Dakshinamurti. So you all know the importance of Chinmudra, the Jnana Mudra. In Bhagavad Gita also, in the Dhyana Slokam, we say, Prapanna Parijadaya Totra Vetriga Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritatuhe Namaha. And you all know Bhagavan Ayyapan, Chinmudradhari, Yogeshwaran, the Sabrimala, the Bhagavan sitting and blessing all of us in the as a yogi, as a tapasvi with the Chinmudra. Bhagavan Krishna also in Gita, we can say Jnana Mudraya Krishna. So the Jnana Mudra started from the Adi Yogi, Adi Brahma Vidya Guru Dakshinamurti. What is the importance of the Chinmudra? The Jiva, the index finger, the thumb is the Ishvara, the Brahman, the higher truth, the lower self, the higher self, the influence of the Prakriti. When the ego gets surrendered and the Jiva merges into the Ishvara, these three will become decoupled. And in life, this Prakriti should get decoupled, and ultimately Jiva should take refuge in the higher principle. Jiva Brahma Aikya. These all are Triguna, influence of Sattvam, Rajas, Tamas. These all are the Prakriti. I would say it can be considered as the Avastatrayam, the three Shariram, Sattvam, Rajas, Tamas. So when the Jiva gets the knowledge and takes refuge into the Paramatma, this is what the ultimate goal in our life. This is the ultimate goal of our life. This is the Sampradaya Upadesha. Otherwise, the tendency is you always get influenced with the Prakriti. You are away from the Purusha Tattva. You are away from the Kshetrajnan. You are with the Kshetra. So now, with the knowledge, one has to realize that you are not the Kshetram, you are the Kshetrajnan. You are influenced by the Prakriti, but you are not the Prakriti. You are not the Manasa, you are not the Buddhi, Chitta, Ahangaram. You are the Brahman. You are always away from the limitations. You are not limited by Desha, Kala, Vastu, Parichaya, above all limitations of space, time, object, causation. So this is the Chinmudra Tattva. This is the Chinmudra Tattvam. By showing this and closing the eyes and without talking, Adi Brahma Vidya Guru is expressing the knowledge to the Shishya. Without talking, the utter silence, the deep, profound silence is the language of communication. Through the Chinmudra, the knowledge is communicated. And what is the medium? Absolute silence. Shabda Pravritti Nimittani. So all the conditions for verbal expressions or verbal descriptions are absent here. So the ultimate truth is free from all, because Para Pashyandi Madhyama Vaikhiri. Everything starts from the Para. Ultimate truth is free from all the distractions and disturbances. Through that ultimate truth, all Madhyama, Vaikhari, all those Pasyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari, all those got formed. Through or with that truth, all the objectification happened, all the manifestations happened, all the Apara Prakriti came into existence from the Para Prakriti. And this cannot be expressed through the mere words and the kind of perceptions that mind can make. That is why the mode of communication is silence here. In the Pradhasmarana Stotram, you all appreciate this. Pradhar Bhajami Manasa Vajasama Gamyam Vajo Vibhandi Nigalaya Anugraha. Or in the Sudhi again says, Yado Vajo Nivartante Aprapriya Manasasaha. Taittiriya says that. And again, Kera Upanishad says, Srotrasya Srotram Manaso Manoyat Vajo Havajam Sau Pranasya Prana Chakshusha Chakshuradimuchyadina. Brahman is not an object to be known. Brahman is not an object to be understood. So these all are the indirect methods of teaching. In the Nirvana Shatkam also, our slogam, the first slogam that we use for our dhyanam today, Neti Neti Neti. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham nacha srotra jihve nacha krana netre naja vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. Or if you go back to the drishya vivek, rupam drishyam lojanam drik tadrishyam draktu manasam drishyadi vrittaye sakshi drige vanadu drishyati. What is the real eye of the eyes? So, through the profound silence and through the Chinmudra, as a yogi who is youthful, Parabrahmatattvam Yuvanam, teacher is youth here. Let us be very, be away from all these criticisms. Right? Let the teacher be positive, let the teacher be approachful, appreciative. Right? Or maybe the yogi, maybe that yogic posture as a youthful posture also depicts that the principle is free from aging. There is no apakshayam. In the Shadvigare, if you see, asti jayade vardhade vivaranamade apakshiyade vinashyati. So there is no influence of the Shadvigara. There is no apakshayam coming. So that's why in the yuva, it has a youth. Acharyendram Karagalada Chinmudram Ananda Rupam, teacher of teachers. Adi Guru, first Guru, always free from the ignorance. So Chinmudra Dhari, that is where the non-verbal communication happening. So itself, this is clear. The Jiva Brahma Aikya. Jivatma Paramatma Aikya or Jiva Brahma Aikya. This is depicted through the Chinmudra Tattva. And through the inherent expression of joy, Ananda Rupa, through the Jnana Chakshush, that reveals the source of happiness, reveals the source of bliss. And where is that? It is within us. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om.